Today is Wednesday, August 31st, 2011.
Yep.
And Joe Turner and I are talking to Mr. Bill Salfen. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Correct.
Can you spell it for us?
Salfen.
Where's that come from, Salfen?
Von Salfenmosser is our name.
Is that right?
My name is Sebastian Joseph William von Salfenmosser in Germany.
Wow.
So, yeah, see, they're from Alsace-Lorraine, actually.
Alsace-Lorraine.
Their farm was between Nancy and Messy, France. See, right on the border.
Is this your mother and father, or just your father's
That
side?
was my father's side. My mother's side, they're different people too. They're really, the Sattler is a strange person. He was just a farm boy out in St. Peter's or O'Fallon. It's right on the border there. And the O'Fallon girl and August Shoto's granddaughter played together all the time, and they came out there. And she saw this guy baling, or not baling at the time, he was just forking the hay, and it was a Sattler boy, and she got tied up with him, and that's where my grandma came from. So, I mean, I get it from both sides. So,
Now, were you born here in the
I was
United
born in
States?
O'Fallon,
Just across the river from
O'Fallon,
us?
Missouri.
And when were you born? You mind telling us?
1924,
1924. So how old are you right now?
87.
Okay,
Yep.
you're 87. Well, let's go back and ask you a little bit about growing up. You were born in O'Fallon, Missouri, and how long did you live there?
Well, I lived there until, went to service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So where'd you go to school then?
St. Joseph's, or St. Charles,
Was it a
St.
public
Charles.
school?
public school, yeah.
Okay, and was your father,
He was the mayor of O'Fallon.
really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Was he from Germany or was he born
No,
also
he
in the
was
United States?
born in Darden Prairie, as we call it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
but his family was from Germany?
Yes, he snuck out of Germany with 2 kids, and then he went to Darden because, see, they all got land. If they went in the Civil War, they got land. So he got acreage there, and McClure's and he were side by side. I don't know if you know the McClure mansion out there. See, McClure was the head of Lindenwood. Well, now his granddad, or his dad, and my granddad were very close. They were 3 years and 3 months in the military in the Civil War. So he got that land over there from the government.
Ah, that's interesting.
We got, before that in Germany, they got land from the Napoleon's army, the von Salfenmosser. See, that's, von is the top, Sol is the head, there's a sun, Moz is the river, the fence is a fighter, von Salfenmosser. That's their name.
Wow. Every syllable means
Yeah,
something.
and they had the farm, see, they had the farm that I bombed there. Actually, near their farm was a air base.
Well, we'll come to that in a few minutes.
That happens to be the same person, you know, the family.
Well, did you have any brothers or sisters?
One brother.
And is he older or younger than
Older.
you? Okay. Now, you said you went into the military. Did you graduate from high school?
Yes,
And that was a public high school, you
public
said?
eye.
And when you graduated, well, before you graduated from high school, were you in any activities during school?
Very much. I worked with my dad, and I worked as a carpenter's helper. And at that time, I was making more money than my teachers in high school.
Is that right?
I do $1.66 and a third cents an hour
And you did this while you were in high school?
while I was in high school.
Well, to be a carpenter, you really have to be kind of good in math
I was that. I had a straight A student in math, and no problem.
I see. Now, did your dad have his own carpentry shop?
He was in charge of building land, the bridges and roads in St. Charles County.
Wow. Was he like an engineer?
He built the Lewis and Clark bridges. He was the superintendent of that.
Wow.
There's the Lewis and Clark bridges was built by St. Charles County, not by state.
I see.
Yeah.
I I see.
So-
So, were you in any other, like, sports or any other activities?
Oh, I didn't have time.
Okay, all right, then, we just kind of like
yeah,
to know
no.
what kind of background you
No, see, I
had.
was a great hunter.
You
I
were.
did a lot of hunting, yeah.
We've talked to a lot of people like that.
Well, see, I would walk from there to St. Peter's and back in the back. That was all my family's, my mother's family from O'Fallon to St. Peter's was all their land.
How many acres would that have been?
Oh, I guess 5 sections or 6 sections, so it'd be 4,000 acres.
When,
Where 79 is now, or where Bush is out
Yes.
there, that was theirs
oh, wow.
years ago. They're still across the street from them. On the hill there, that's still Sattler's own, Westhoff's own it now. Westhoff's a light company in St. Fallon. That's part of the Sattler family.
You say you graduated from high school, and then what did you do after
Went to
that?
Mizzou to be in the engineering school. I wanted to go to, I figured I'd do that. And when I went there, they said, well, we'll teach you to be a pilot.
Why would they say that?
Because they wanted pilots so bad at that time. World War II was coming up, and they wanted pilots. And the civilian pilot training, CPT as they called it, civilian pilot training. So we get a commercial license through the government while we're going to college. So I got my commercial license up there,
And this is the University of Missouri at Columbia?
at Columbia, yeah. See, and I lived at the Sinclair Pennant Hotel right there across from the airport. The government paid for it. Because at that time, my family gave me $7 a week.
$7
That was
a
for
week?
everything.
That was for your
But
food?
Food, tuition, books, and everything. So
Wow.
I waited tables.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, at Gaber's.
And where?
Gaber's right across from Jesse Hall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brother waited in the other one, on the other side of town. So he was up at school then too. And I stayed on Paquin Avenue with, well, I had 2 guys that became All-American.
What?
Bob Stuber and center was, can't even think of his name now, then he went to St. Louis U and taught there. So anyway, see, Bob Stuber was, he lived there with his room in the building there with us.
What you're talking about in Columbia,
In
Missouri?
Columbia, Missouri, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
See, and then the government said, okay, you're a pilot, you're in.
what
They
year
pulled me right
was,
out of school.
what year was this in,
42,
I see.
yeah, they pulled me right out of college.
Did you get all four years of college?
No, hell no, I didn't get a full year because
Really?
no.
Not even a full year?
No, they pulled me right out and they said, you're in. We need pilots.
Did you sign up for any kind
Oh
of?
yeah, because I had to sign up to get that free education in
Ah.
reserve. See, and I was 17. So I had
17?
17. So I had my mom signed it. Said if you just wanted to learn to fly, I had never done any flying in my life. I never made a plane or nothing. But the guys were all saying they would all be pilots. I was kidding them. I said, shit, you got to study for that. Most of them didn't study. And I studied, I had to. My dad made me. And when I was 7 or 8 years old, I used to take and watch in the pinochle tournament. I'd play and keep the score. So they played pinochle all the time. So I had to keep the score. I learned to read blueprints when he was building the bridges.
Right,
I started that in grade school.
right.
And so it was interesting. I thought I'd be an engineer,
Right.
but
No, huh?
well, then later on when I took over there in England, when I got out of prison, I went to a place and went to Oxford.
Well,
Studied-
let's talk about your military. You said that you were at the university a year and the government said, we need you.
Pilots, yeah.
And so where did you go then?
I went to Texas Training Command. So they said, we'll make you a glider pilot because you're a big man.
A glider pilot?
Yeah, I was 240 pounds. at the time.
Wow.
And so they put me in there, and so I went with the Ranger Battalion, and it was pretty rough area. And my grandparents died out at O'Fallon, and so they said, said, could we have him home, you know? And the old man said, you can't go. He said, you're acting first sergeant now. So that was it. But we were cavalry in Okmulgee. So they said, I said, well, let me see that, what telegram? And it said that grandmother ill, grandfather died, our mother is ill, and no need for a soldier to come home. That's what was written on there. So I said to the Captain Olson, I said, Captain, I said, what about cutting that off? We just cut that off. And he said, okay, he said, you can get 10 days. So I came home. When I came home, my outfit that I was with were brought into active duty, right? They were sent out. When I got back, there was nobody there. They said, well, why in the hell don't you go in regular planes? I said, well, hell, I'm only, 18 years old, and they won't take me. I said, well, hell, I'll put me in, stick down in one of those deals. I went in, and they said, well, we need you. He said, we'll put you in training through, and we'll put you in as a first pilot. So I went all the way through from all the different Air Force deals, 4-engine airplanes and everything. And so then I was 19, and I was given my own men.
Wow. Now the United States was not in the war, though, at that time.
Oh yeah, they were in the war. Oh yeah.
They were.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they needed pilots bad at that time. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't never have got there. I mean, without that education, I didn't have it. But it was rough being in there with them. Most of them had college boys. Most of them had college degrees, or at least 2 years, engineers, and there weren't that many first pilots that were 19 anyway.
So where did they send you? What was your assignment?
Liberal, Kansas. The 4-engine airplanes. Liberal.
Liberal.
Yeah.
Where is Liberal? I've never heard of Liberal.
Well, Liberal is out southwestern part of yeah.
And what did you do in Liberal, Kansas?
Flew. But it's a class naturally. But that flew.
Training.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
Then I went to Casper, Wyoming.
Okay.
And first I went to, what the hell is it? Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
And
Utah?
at Utah they said, okay, you're going to get a crew. So I had to pick 9 men with my crew. So we left there and went to, oh boy, what's it, Liberal. I went from Liberal to, I forget the name of the town now.
That's okay.
Anyway, from there, then I would go to Detroit and pick up B-24s and fly them all over in the States, it's training.
Oh, okay.
But we'd get new planes and test fly them. So we did that, and then we came back, and they said, well, now we'll use you as an instructor. And I said, And at that time, my wife was my girlfriend. And then the director of training says, tell you what, he said, we'll have you as an instructor, and then you can get married. I said, I won't get married. We won't get married. Definitely not. I said, until I get back, until this war is over, we don't want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to Lindenwood at the time.
Oh, okay.
So anyway.
Well, let's back up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
How did you meet this girlfriend?
High school.
So she lived out in your
St. Charles. No,
area.
she's from St. Charles.
Okay.
Yeah, she's from St. Charles.
Did she go to your high school?
Oh, yeah.
And what was her name?
Mabel Wilkins.
Mabel Wilkins.
Mm-hmm.
Is she your age?
Oh, yeah. She was a little bit older.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was born in February. I was born in June.
Oh, that is a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Very little.
All right. So you were boyfriend and girlfriend
Yeah.
when you actually even went to the university?
All 5 times. We went dates. I never had time for a date.
Oh.
I was working all the time. That was part of my life.
What did she do then? When she graduated from high school, what did she do?
Well, she would work for the president of Lindenwood,
Oh, really?
and then she got under 35 cents an hour. Remember that? She got, what do they call it? Student Activity Fund. I forget, SAF or whatever it was. But anyway, they drew 35 cents an hour working for the school they went, and then they got their tuition. Because
Oh,
she never had any money. She
Yeah.
came from a family that was poor as church mice. Well, she had the same dress that she would make different things out of the pattern in school, and that's what she wore. Yeah, she's a poor thing. Well, she'd never been out of St. Charles in her life. Well, not out of Missouri. So, yeah.
so you were in service and she was working for the Lindenwood
Yeah.
University
And going to college, yeah.
and going to college herself.
Oh, yeah, she graduated with honors.
Oh, she must have been a very smart
Oh, yeah,
girl.
that's why she got the scholarship.
I see.
Yeah, she was Phi Beta Kappa. Oh, yeah,
Wow.
she was real intelligent.
Yes.
She had the intelligence in our family, which was lucky for the kids, I guess.
Well, let's talk about, you were in the Air Force
Yeah.
then, and you were training, or you were flying around, testing out these airplanes, is that
Well,
correct?
we just pick them up and take them up one flight and then land them at a base and then go back and pick up another one. That was training,
Okay,
yeah. Instead of using test pilots, they used us as test them.
I see.
A few of them didn't make it, but that's
You were flying with a crew that included a trained navigator?
me.
You were the navigator?
Yeah, well, no, I had a navigator, but lucky. I picked a navigator that was the top in his class,
Uh-huh.
and he was quite a bit older than I was. I think he was 26.
So were you flying with visual flight?
And the other ones, see, finally got my rating with a green sticker.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't ever, well, I had a white sticker, I guess, for a while, until I got 100 hours of active instruments. You had to have 100 hours before you could get the green card. The green card made it you could fly anytime, weather.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess, you're a pilot, I guess, huh?
No, I've
You've been around it,
never
huh?
been a pilot.
Oh, you've been around it though, or you heard it before, I guess.
Yeah.
You good?
I've been around.
Oh, good.
How long were you with the Air Force then?
I was there until, well, when I got out, I went right to the Guard here. We started the National Guard here in St. Louis.
What do you mean we started? What-
Well, it was gone, see, the 86 observation was put out during World War II, so it never was reopened. So we started a new one out here, 321st Fighter Control, we started out here. Now that's the one that's here now yet.
So,
So I was a cadre in that, I was one of the original that started, with 13 officers.
so you were pretty much involved then with
Oh,
the Air Force
Oh, yeah,
for,
very much so.
through the years?
Oh, yeah.
When you said you were flying overseas then?
Oh, yeah, sure.
In Germany, you said by your ancestors'
Oh, yeah.
place?
Oh, yeah, well, I
That
flew
must have been a
in.
very eerie feeling.
No, it wasn't, because I had a cousin that used to take off, when I take off from England, he'd take off from Germany. He hit the Knight's Cross with diamonds, he was a pilot over there in the German Air Force. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my
And
family,
when-
well, I had one of them that was, well, let's see, he would have been at forget what part of the family offhand, but he was a doctor at Hanover. And see, at Hanover, they won't have nothing to do with me, they wouldn't, because at Hanover, at the hospital, one of the people got killed, one of the family got killed, and that was the day I was the deputy lead on that flight, and they knew it. The Germans knew that it when I took off. You want to be scared, that's when you're scared. The first mission I went on over there, I went to Kiel, I was flying tail end, and all of a sudden, Lord Haw said, Lieutenant Salfen, you're in flight number 2, number 12 ship. And he's on the ground, the German, telling me where I am on the flight.
Wow.
They knew where I was, every raid, you could listen to Haw, you could hear where you were and what you were doing.
Was he in English or German?
No, he was in English. Yeah, he hit on a German, but a short wave. We had that on, we turned it on the minute we got in the air. We used to love to listen to him.
Yeah.
Well, he knew more about what we were doing than we did. Oh, great, he was a great man, I guess.
When the war was over and then you came back to the United States?
Yeah.
And how old were you then?
Well, let's see, I was, that would be in 45, so I was 21.
And,
Well, I was 21 in June, and this was in, what we got over in May, it was 20 then, yeah. I was still a captain then at 20. Yeah,
so did you get married then?
yeah, I got married 8 days after I was home.
8 days after you
Yeah.
came home?
My family adopted her before me. She went with 5 dates, you know, but she spent more time with my family because they had really did everything they could for her.
Mm-hmm.
But we had no girls in the family, just the 2 boys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Was your brother in the military too?
Oh, yes. He
Was-
was the head of the deal there at Luxembourg. He was assistant manager of Luxembourg. He was the general headquarters there. He had his own base in Luxembourg.
And did he come home after the war was over?
No, well, he did, but he had to go over to Japan, and he was on the ship. When the war was over, he was at Panama Canal.
Oh, really?
He was taking his outfit over there.
So
He
where,
was 4 years older than I was. He was a captain too
I
at
see.
the time.
wow. Where were you married then? You and Mabel, where did
Good
you
old
get?
Fallon,
Okay. So what brought you to Bridgeton then?
airport.
What do you mean?
Well, see, I was flying there, and the chaplain used to play cards here at this place.
You mean this house where we
He's
are right
I am
now?
Yeah,
And could you tell us the address?
4024 Lock, L-O-C-K-E, Bridgeton.
And the chaplain of the,
He was chaplain over at the Guard.
at the Guard, he used to play cards here?
Oh, yeah, he had St. William's Parish. He was a pastor there. Father Wally Boole.
What was his name?
Walter Boole, B-O-U-L-E.
Okay. And so you got to know him?
Oh, yeah. And then
And-
he said, well, there's a place over there that's got about half a dozen acres. That's the way he said it. He said he's played cards here and the family wants to get rid of it.
Oh,
So I was in the city. I came by that evening. And they said, well, we want to sell it. And I said, what do you want for it? They told me. I said, I'd buy it. They had a center table there underneath of it. They had a mantle over there. And right there in the center, they had everything on the table. I said, well, he said, we got their title. I said, well, just write on the title that I'll buy it. And so I went home and I told my wife, I said, I just bought a farm over there in
a
Bristol.
farm.
You know, they said, well, we thought it was 4-something acres. It was 4 acres, but we figured it was 5 at the time. So I said,
So there weren't any other houses around here?
No.
Close by?
Well, see, well, there was one right there, but that was an old house, naturally. And the one across the street was a dairy.
A dairy,
There was a dairy farm over there.
really?
Yeah.
Now, we heard that there was a dairy farm where Northwest Plaza is.
Oh, definitely, that was monsters. That was a great big one.
But there's another dairy.
Yeah, a little dairy over here, I don't know the name of it, I'll have to ask them because I don't really know what the name of it was. But the dairy farm was still there, oh, I guess in the 50s, or 60s maybe when they tore it down, when they started with it.
Well, when you moved here, so was she happy with your choice then?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, poor thing, she had nothing in her life. I mean, they never had anything. She said we had meat maybe once a week, maybe. They never had enough to get by, really. So it was great. Oh, yeah. My poor wife, she was such a sweet gal.
So when you bought the house then,
Mhm.
and tell us what this street was like. You said there was a dairy farm across the street and an old house next to you.
Yeah, and it
And
burned.
what about Natural Bridge? We came to your street from Natural Bridge.
Yeah.
Was Natural Bridge there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Natural Bridge goes back into, let's say, what the hell, 1790, right about 1800, I think.
Well, was the old part of Bridgeton there by St. Mary's then?
Yeah, that's where it was. That was the head, boss was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you go to St. Mary's
Oh, yes.
Church?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Well, it's a shame, but St. Mary's isn't there anymore at all.
Yeah, well, see, before it went down, well, see, I was the head of the parish council.
Is that right?
I was the president of the parish council there for, I think, 2 terms. Yeah. I finally said, none of that, because I didn't want men anymore. When you're in charge of men for so long, you don't want them. Let's put that back on.
Now,
This is more talking than I usually do.
well, just relax a little
That's
bit.
right.
Now, you have children?
Yes,
How many children do you have?
I have 5 now. I had
Uh-huh.
6.
You had 6.
Yeah,
And boys and girls or,
4 boys, 2 girls.
okay.
The
Were
boys-
they all born after you moved into this
No,
house?
No, 2 of them were born in St. Charles. When I came home from the service, rather than buying this right at first, I had to see, when I was in prison, well, I put all the money in the bank. See, every one of my men had to put so much in their bank. Nobody was allowed to get more than $75 a month in the service,
Now, whose rule was that?
mine.
And why did you set that rule?
Because the rest of it went to the bank for their family and for themselves.
Were you worried that they would just spend it
Yeah, well, sure,
foolishly?
a lot of them did. A lot of them did. But we gambled and did everything.
Bill, you've mentioned a couple of times now that you got out of prison. I assume you're talking about being
Prisoner of war.
as a
Yeah.
prisoner of war?
Yeah.
So was that one imprisonment, or were you captured more than one
I
time?
was captured several times. One time I escaped. At that time I was captured.
The movies that have been made, do they do this? Do they paint an accurate picture?
Yep, yep.
Um,
A lot of stories in there that well, they showed Stalling 17.
Right.
It was a play.
Yeah.
At one time at the Fox. We were there, went to the movie, and actually the day they opened, or not the movie, the play. And right in the middle of it, all of a sudden, you heard about 5 or 6 people laughing. So you knew that they had all been in camp.
oh,
They were doing things that, oh,
Yeah.
the Germans would send people around under the barracks. They had floors,
uh-huh,
and they'd go under the barracks and listen.
listen.
So we'd find a knothole and pee in it, try and get them in the eye. Well, the minute they wrote that, that's when we all laughed.
Yeah.
And so you knew the guys, and afterwards, the guy at the playhouse there said, now anybody that was a prisoner in Germany would just stop by it. So we stopped by and all went next door there to Fox and had a few drinks. Actually got drunk probably.
Did you have to do, you know how you see sometimes in movies and TV how they said, to validate if a person was really on whose side, they'd ask them some key
You
questions
damn
like,
right.
did you?
You
Like
damn
who
right.
won the World Series and what year?
Well, it was much more than that.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, see, the thing about it is we did it too. We did it here. See, after the war, they put me under sodium pentothal at Scott.
oh, that's the truth serum?
Oh, yeah. And that's why, see, I can't take it now. I can't take any drugs. I can't take any drugs at all because they gave me drugs, I'd say, how many years ago? And in St. Charles, and I busted the wall out there at the hospital. And so, I mean, I don't take anything. And pain pills now, ACP and codeine, we used to take that constantly. I'd take a half a dozen of them, you know, when it was flying, because it was 13 hours, you know, a mission was about 13 hours.
Mhm.
And you fly 13 hours. At that time, there wasn't anybody who was gonna run automatic, but when you're flying combat, you're not on automatic, you're flying it. So you were pretty tedious, I imagine, especially for different people that weren't used to being active. I was pretty active, I think. Yeah.
So when you came back, like I said, from the military
Uh-huh.
and you got married and you started your family, what kind of work did you do then?
Undertaker.
An undertaker.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of a,
A wholesale undertaker.
what does that mean?
I did work for many of them. I'd redo heads, everything else. I did paintings and so forth. So that I would do a head and wax. If somebody had an accident, well, I'd do that. So I'd go all around the different places. See, I did like Herman's and Kriegshauser, and
Yes.
all of them. I did work for all of them. Kudus I did a tremendous amount for.
So you got a body ready for burial,
Yeah.
so the family could view it?
Yes, which it should never been allowed, but that was part of it.
How in the world did you ever come
Well, see,
into something like that?
I wanted to go into medicine.
Oh.
And there's no way that I could stand it, because I went in and I was carrying about 30 hours at WashU.
So you went back to school?
Oh yes, because hell, I got free deal from the government.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, sure, I went down there, and a lot of times I'd be in class, and I'd get a call at the place there on Forest Park, and they'd say, okay, you should be out to, they wanted me at the airport. And I'd fly down to Tulsa and get a part for an airplane. See, when we'd get parts down there. See, that was the part department. Was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was the parts for at that time we got P-51s up here, so I'd take a C-47 down there and get it. I flew many a time like that, just so I'd leave class and go down and do that, which I enjoyed because that was money. Yeah. See, at that time, I think I drew $300 a month. Now, hard to tell what a captain flight pay would draw, but that's what we drew, $300 a month, plus our overhead.
Well, how did you come to start working in this, funeral business?
Well, because in med school, well, I figured that to be the thing. It was easy, to go to those classes, because no problem, because I could ace those classes, no problem. And that's, I went ahead and got my license for that.
And how long did you do that work?
Till, what the heck, till I retired.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you must have been rather artistic as well to be able
I was
to
at the time.
fix up a human body
Yeah.
to look like a human body.
See that there, right there where Mom's picture and behind his, I used to have a head up there. I made a head for Mom and put a wig on her. My kids screamed bloody murder. I had to get rid of it right quick, because it looked like her. Her head was on the mantle. I can picture.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, when your children were growing up then, and they went to school here in Bridgeton, and what school did they go to?
Pattonville.
Oh, they did?
Well, first SJ went to St. Mary's to begin with, and then when he was, I don't know, 7th or 8th grade, he studied for the speech tournament at CBC,
Yeah?
and he won it, and they said, well, he can't go to CBC because he wasn't ready for high school yet, so he had to go back to 8th grade. And so we came back there, and Father Morrell said, I said, well, he can't do nothing. I said, who said he can't do anything? He said, he can do anything he wants to. I said, your kid's not that way. And the daughters, the 2 daughters at that time were going to, was it there in St. Charles? Sacred Heart Academy. Anyway, and I said, kids will never come here again. Took the boy out of class, went to Pattonville.
Oh, so you had a little falling out with
the pastor, because,
I see.
Yeah, see, the assistant pastor used to come here and play cards with him all the time.
Uh-huh.
So Father Finley, he had a bad leg and everything else. He'd say, okay, Captain, he said, we're coming to your house. I said, okay.
Captain.
Yeah. He enjoyed going over to the guard too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then Steve Boole, Wally, like his Scotch, white something, I forget what it was now. But he had whites, I forget what the hell it was. It was Scotch that he drank, I know, and the rest of us drank bourbon, but Father Boole always drank the Scotch, so we always had to have that here.
Did your children then graduate from Pattonville High School?
Oh, yeah. No, I shouldn't say they, let's see, SJ did, and Paulette did, Billy did. Brian, he, General Motors got him to go to some tech school, because he was going to go through colleges, and they go college 6 months and then work for 6 months or something. So anyway, they'd get their degree, I forget how long. So they had him go to that tech school, and then he got killed at St. Charles.
Oh, my.
Racetrack over there.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So anyway.
How old was he?
Well, I guess he was 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Here you were flying combat missions
Yeah,
and in a foreign country, and you got shot down, and you escaped, and yet your son, unfortunately,
Oh, yeah.
got killed right here.
oh, yeah.
It's ironic,
Oh,
isn't it,
yeah,
how
it
things
is that,
happen?
yeah.
Do any of your children live here in Bridgeton?
No,
No.
no. I have a daughter in Vermont, 3 sons in California, and the other one in Southern Illinois.
Wow, they're all over.
Oh yeah, Southern Illinois, she has a rough time with this Illinois money. See, she's got 13 employees and they're having a hell of a time. She's a paid by the federal government through the state, you know, so it's a mess. Yeah.
So are you retired military?
Well, I get good retirement from it.
And now tell us, you said earlier when we were talking to you before our interview officially started, that you've been working, I take it as a volunteer
Oh, yes.
for Operation
Oh,
Food
yes, oh,
Search?
yes. Everything's volunteer.
So could you tell us a little bit about that? How did you get started with that?
Well, people in this area needed help. And they, at that time, well, Colonel Morrell, he was the brother to the pastor at St. Mary's. Anyway, Colonel said to me, he said, could you help us in this pantry?
And now how long was that? When do you think that was?
In,
10 years ago?
oh God, no, 50 years ago.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, at least 50.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Now I started up here, and then I stayed with them until, well, we quit the pantry. See, I had 6 people that volunteered, and then I had ideal deal up there because, well, there's a couple of them that still go to up there to Bridgeton to lunch that used to work for me up there. You know, everybody volunteered.
And this is all volunteer?
Oh yeah, it's all volunteer.
And where was this that you would go?
Well, right here at St. Mary's in the basement.
Oh, okay.
We had the basement. We had two freezers and I don't know 3 or 4 refrigerators.
Well, where did the food come from?
From the food search.
People would you make calls to different?
No, they came up there to pick it up. You know, 2 days a week we'd go have open.
Well, no, I mean, how did you initially get the food to St. Mary's?
Oh, we'd go to pick it up at food search in the city.
Oh.
They camp. See, now we have 100. Well, I say we. I'm not there anymore. We had 140 pantries that we gave food to.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were like a distribution.
Distribution, yeah.
I see.
Later on, I went with that. So
I see.
when we closed this, I went with that. Yeah.
And you've been involved in the Bridgeton Kiwanis also, I understand?
No, Bridgeton Kiwanis, they don't want me, I don't think, because my attitude is not good for them. I mean, they pick people that are from, that they want to give stuff to, or people that don't deserve it. And I guess I got that from my wife. See, my wife had nothing, and she got her scholarship. And I think that people that are really bad off, and they want to go ahead, they're the ones that should be helped. Not my kids shouldn't get help. I mean, because I've got enough, they've got enough, and the people that have enough shouldn't get it. But that's not the way things go anymore. Politics pays too much.
We know,
I'm sorry.
I know a little bit of your wife, that she was involved in the Bridgeton Historical Commission, and Joe and I are on Bridgeton Historical Commission. And I give tours to the Pink Gentry House. Did she also give tours?
We started doing that, yeah.
Really?
See, because we'd go to our, what's her name? The daughter, the granddaughter. We'd go to her house.
Oh, Elizabeth Gentry
Elizabeth, yeah, down on West Pine.
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, we've been to her house a number of times. See, and then I went to get her clothing that's in there. We went down to get it down there.
Clothing that's hanging up in the wardrobe in the house?
And then see the foot heater, the one with the handle on it, it's sitting there on the stove. It's got, you put bricks in it to put in your feet.
Sure.
I gave that to them, or my Mabel did. And then,
well, we have a foot warmer in the doctor's office.
well, that's probably it. Then the punch bowl.
Yes.
We gave that to them.
Oh, I see.
Where did those things come from originally?
We bought them at the auctions.
Uh-huh.
We got one. She kept one all the time. We always liked a punch bowl.
So you were both rather involved in the Bridgeton Historical?
She was, but I
see.
was a,
Helper,
the
sure.
helper.
Of course, I understand, I get my husband involved
Well, you have
sometimes.
to. I mean, because after all, it's wonderful that people do that. And I didn't have it, I didn't have the time really.
Yes.
But see, she had her national certificate, teaching certificate, she had that. So every so often, they'd have a problem at school, they'd call her and she'd teach 2 or 3 days or something.
Is that right?
English or math or something like that. She had her degree was in economics and teaching. See, she had a double certificate.
Mm-hmm. How long were you married?
57 years, 11 months, and 28 days.
I see. What happened? I don't know.
She died. She had the last year. They finally told me. They said you just can't keep her, by yourself. So, well, she was with me 24/7, and they said you have to. So 3 days before she died, we took her to over here to DePaul. Other than that, she was right here with me. Yeah.
And that was what year?
29.
Oh, I see.
She
I
died in
see.
July.
I see. Well, we're sorry that
Oh, yeah.
you know.
She was something else.
I don't remember that I've ever met her, unfortunately.
She, see, we still go with the old German way of taking pictures. The woman standing up behind the man or something. Either that or the other way. One of them has to be standing all the time.
I see. Did you ever go back to Germany
Oh,
after
yes.
the war was over?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What did that feel like, going back to Germany?
Mom, I think I wanted her to see it. And my family wants nothing to do with me over there.
Oh,
No, see, I've got cousins over there that, he was head of the hospital, and his daughter, she had 3 kids. She was a nurse. The 2 boys, Hitler took them away from her. The minute she had them, they took them in. And the daughter, she stayed there as a nurse later on. So that was Bad Hanover, as they call it, is the name of the town. It's a little town right out of Hanover. It's like East St. Louis or St. Louis here. But my family's still over in that area. But my family, the Von Elms, which is part of it, they go over there a lot. They associate with it. See, one of them was in prison in Virginia. And they said, the Von Elms said, well, we'll have him come down, we'll take him. I said, fine, you take him and just cancel me. I'm not part of the family. So then they didn't take him. He went back to Germany. So he started a family back over there. Because he was on a tank in Africa. He was captured down there. Yeah.
Let's get back to Bridgeton.
Yeah.
How long then have you lived here on Locke?
Yeah, let's see. I guess 1970 something.
What did you think about all the airport expansion?
I think it was wonderful. I mean, I hate to see the fact that we didn't get the Chinese right away. It's the fact that we're going to have to spend it again. That should have been part of the deal at the time. I think it was a very poor deal that somebody didn't do their tricks. Yeah, that was a mess. But I think that airport was ideal, and we had the spot and everything to put warehouses and everything out here. And I think the property is there. Now they don't want to build it there. I don't know where they're going to build it, that Chinese thing that they say they're going to build in the next 2 years. Hard to tell where it's going to be.
We don't know if
It should be here.
Uh-huh.
What's they going to do with that property on it? That should be warehouses rather than, there's no park there. And they won't let people go in there for parks, for picnics.
No.
Well now, what the hell is the city doing? I mean, it's like the park up here at the corner. It's a sign that says, not allowed in.
Yes.
There's a park there.
It's sad. My children went to camp there.
Well, sure. No, that's outrageous. I mean, somebody is playing politics too much. I guess somebody isn't getting the right money or something.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, well, that's,
Have you been to the new government center?
oh yes.
What do you think of that?
I don't know, because I had to go up and see Donnie because he came to the house here, he and his wife, and said, get the chief of police.
Oh, yeah, Don Hood?
Yeah. Yeah. See, I used to have Mutt and Jeff. See, the other, Walter, was 6'3", and Don is 5'3". They both 300 pounds. That was Mutt and Jeff. They used to play here as kids. So I've known them, you know, yeah. Yeah, he was here, what we had friends in the neighborhood deal. So he came here, he and his wife came here for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful facility.
Oh, well, it is that. Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be easy access to the highways.
Well, if I could just believe the city of Bridgeton, it'd be fine. You can't believe what anything they say, though. I mean, they said they'd start this the 1st of August.
What is this? What do you?
The city, the Bridgeton, the street.
The
They
street?
promised it that 4 years ago.
What are they gonna do to your street?
They're gonna widen it.
They're gonna what?
Why, we're gonna widen it, put
Oh,
curbs
uh-huh.
and everything else.
Yes.
Yeah, so I signed the papers. I gave them 1/3 of an acre in the back so they could run the water from the city hall down through there.
Uh-huh.
The weeds are this high. Here, you're not allowed over 12 inches. Not there. The city owns it. They're 1.5 feet high. And see, the problem is, the guy in charge of all that is gone in the military right now.
Oh.
Major, whatever, you have to think of his last name even. But anyway, he's called active duty. He'll be back next Monday.
Uh-huh.
So I'll have to talk to him, because I gotta get them to cut the, I can't get in there because
Right.
it's a mosquito haven. Oh, see, it's a ditch they got down there, and they put some rock in there, now there's 1.5 feet of water. You know it's full of mosquitoes.
Ooh, yeah.
No, you
Of
can't,
course.
I can't go in the back,
Of course.
But, so, it's such a lie. But see, Bridgeton is, they say they're gonna do it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But such is life. I mean, I think they've overextended themselves in a lot of ways in the streets.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. Well, when they 4 years ago, they were gonna build it, widen the street. Now they claim they're gonna do it starting any day.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
so maybe in another 4 years it'll be done?
No, I mean, they gave me $800 and some for that right away.
Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah. So I think they paid me.
Okay.
So hard telling. Be nice.
Yes.
Well, such a life.
What, how do you feel that Bridgeton has changed besides the airport or in other
I think
ways?
it's doing wonderful. I think Bridgeton is doing a better job than most cities. Much so, because actually we got help for the older people. We've got the people that'll pick people up and take them somewhere. They've got food up here if they need it, and they'll send food to them, everything else. I mean, they've worked real hard. And Mary Lane is one of the best.
Well, we're lucky to have her.
Oh, yeah, we definitely. Mary Lane is top dog. What, you got 5 minutes yet?
About 10.
10?
Well, what are you involved in now? Are you still involved in the, you
Well,
know,
I
with the
still pick
community?
up for Agnes home down there. I take bread down to them.
Which home?
And, you know, down at DePaul, those are all Section 8.
Oh, you mean
Not
like,
Section 8, what do they call it? The rental deals.
like the Naomi house, you mean?
Well, there was one this side, Agnes home. See, there's 2 homes. There's homes right here by DePaul. The Agnes home, no, the Agnes home is shut-ins.
Oh.
These are people that have apartments.
Oh,
Right
uh-huh.
down here, you've seen those 2 apartment houses back there.
Right.
Yeah, behind Best Buy.
Little Angels is what they call it. I said
Ah.
Agnes home, Little Angels. Yeah, and this gal, this picture, she's the one that takes care of it. I go down there and take the bread down to them. I did it yesterday. See, Tuesday I go down and pick it up because it's overbake. See, overbake on the Tuesday. Now, next week I can't because it's a holiday, they won't have it, they won't bake.
And where do you pick it up from?
From Food Search, you know, they bring it in there. So I get.
So you're still active
I got
in
14
that.
racks, you know, 14 high, you know, and there's, let's see, there's 3, 6, 9 loaves in each one. 14, that's how many I got.
How do you
Tuesday.
transport all that?
And I got the seat floated down in the car. Yeah. And then I take it out there, and then she takes it, puts it in a bag and takes it in. those people wait for her. Tuesday evening, they're standing there waiting for her. Last night, she had to get that. Yeah, she's been real nice about it. I mean, she used to eat up there with us all the time, too.
Who is that you're referring to?
Yeah, McAnulty is her name.
Okay.
Sherry McAnulty.
Oh, okay.
And it took me a while to think of her name even. Yeah. Because I call her the cougar. She gets a kick out of that. She said, nobody could get by calling me a cougar but you.
Uh-huh. So, do you take part in any of the Bridgeton community center activities, like the swimming pool or the weight room or any of that?
My wife used to swim a mile a day.
Did she?
Oh, yeah. She had all those buttons and everything out that they used to have to sign for years ago.
Joe actually swims.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, Honey and I are up there 3 mornings a week.
Well, if she was there, I don't know how many mornings, but she walks. You know, she loved that. But that was a mile, so she had that good exercise. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think she did a pretty good job, and she knew everybody pretty well. See, she and don't mind me. That's the second thing that goes, but
That's
the
okay.
gal that's got the elevator in Bridgeton Community Center, what was her name?
I don't know.
Oh, what the heck was her name?
I really
I
don't
can
know.
picture her. But anyway, she and Mom were in a room together out there when they both died in the room out there.
Is that right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's what, she lived right there by the city up there at the time, she and her sister. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't really not sure. Maybe the name will come to
Oh,
you. I don't
it'll
really
come
know.
to me probably, but that's the thing about it is, this is unusual for me to talk this long.
Well, we really appreciate it.
I just can't do it hardly. You know.
Well, we can end the interview if you're.
No, that's fine.
I think we actually just have a few more minutes.
As long as I got this back, I guess that's.
You should, yes.
I'm really pressing on it.
Yes, I know sometimes it's hard to sit or stand or lay in a certain place.
Yeah.
Do you do any kind of exercise?
I've got my own garden. Yeah, I've been raising tomatoes and my potatoes I haven't dug yet this year. And I bought
How long have you had a garden?
Well, since I moved here. Oh yeah, because I used to do all the canning. Well, I canned a lot of jellies and preserves, peaches. I've got 9 peach trees.
Wow, how nice.
Oh yeah.
That's nice.
I haven't made any peach preserves yet this year, but I will. I've got, I think, 2 gallons of chopped up peaches. That fallen peaches, I go and clean them, you know, and then put them in and freeze them. So then I make preserves out of them, peach preserves. So I like that. Yep.
So do you do much cooking for yourself?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I do baking, and I just, where did I go somewhere here a while back, and they said some lamb chops, so I got them, so I gotta fix them. I haven't had to fix lamb chops in ages, but I love those things.
Do you ever watch any of the cooking shows on TV?
No, I usually go to the gal, if the gal from Snooks comes out, a lot of times I'll see her down at the Snooks store down there. So I've seen what she's got, ask her a lot of times. She is good. The gal that was used to be in charge of all the what B was her name, B or D-E-E, or forget what her last name was. She was in charge of all the pictures for Snooks. And on Thursday, they take the pictures down and I'd go and get it. Everything that was left, I'd get and take it to Food Search. Every Thursday, I'd go down there on, I would say LaSalle Street, but it isn't. It's right off of Jefferson, just a block from Jefferson, but I can't tell you the name of the street even. But I go there for years, but I did that for, I guess, 15, 20 years. Everything that Snooks has on sale, I'd get. You know, because once it's under pictures, you couldn't sell it. It was illegal. See, because once it's under the under the bright lights.
Oh,
and-
yes.
So-
Yeah, I always wondered what they did with all that.
No, so I always get that and take it to food service.
I see.
Like holidays, they'd have 3 different ham companies. So that way they'd take 2 from each one and they'd have them down there. Well, then I'd have 6 hams that I'd pick, and turkeys, I got, maybe 20 turkeys, different companies,
Right.
different kinds. That
Uh-huh.
anything Snooks took a picture of, I'd get.
I
Oh,
see.
yeah. And it was interesting.
For their advertising.
Oh, for their ads, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
See, and then the guys in charge of that took that picture. Tetrasonic is the name of it. They made the pictures of the World's Fair. Did you ever see that? It's St. Louis at the World's Fair.
I have seen some pictures of the
Well, you didn't see the movie? See,
with Judy Garland.
No, right here. It was
No.
made here in St. Louis.
No,
I'll be darned. I'm surprised. I mean, you have to see it sometime.
I just seen Meet Me in St. Louis with
No,
Judy
no,
Garland.
this is about the World's Fair. And they made a picture of it, so they had it down at the Fox. And so they said, well, come on down to it, because they took some of my pictures. I got pictures like this of the fair.
Oh, really?
And they wanted to see it. So I took them down and they invited me down to the night that they showed it the first time. The mayor and all of them were there. I said, well, okay. We went down and they had the organ, the guy was playing the organ yet.
Was it,
At the Fox?
what's his name?
Stan
Stan
Stan Can. So I was in the second row, in the center aisle.
Wow.
And I said, my God, and we had the mayor, we had the governor and everybody else there. And so Mom got a kick out of that. She said, she said, we got the best seats that time. But you had to look up there. See, that's the only bad part about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, I worked with them for a long time. And they always said, well, anything they had left, naturally, they made sure I got it. Anything with Snooks had, why, they'd send there for a picture, they'd keep it. They'd say, well, we'll just give it to the Dutchman, he'll take care of it.
Is that what they call
Oh,
it?
yeah, everybody called me the Dutchman.
The Dutchman.
Oh, yeah, well, see, I was more German than most of the guys in my camp, and, yeah, I was told.
Did you speak German?
Jawohl. In the Kleine.
So did that help you
No.
during the war at all?
I can't stick your stay, I would say. I can't understand you. See, what my grandma used to say, "Da verrekte Kinder." I was a crazy kid.
Well, when you were in the camp, the prisoner of war, didn't having that German background help you know what they were talking about?
Yes, that's why I was used. That's why I went in the underground. See, I fought with the underground for a while. Yeah, so that's when I was captured one time. But you had to send somebody out. They had to use somebody, so I was the somebody, and I was a kid. See, I was 20 years old.
So you were probably strong and a little
Oh, I
bit more
could
of a
care less.
daredevil.
I didn't give a damn.
Right,
And nobody was any better than I was. Typical pilot. Pilots are that way. I mean, we got that attitude.
Uh-huh.
We thought nobody could touch us.
Where will, if you don't mind me saying, where is your wife buried?
We're not buried.
Oh,
We donate our bodies.
I see, and that's what you're gonna, well, I didn't know,
Oh, sure, yeah.
I see, I
No,
didn't know if you'll be
no,
buried at Jefferson
no,
Barracks or
no,
not.
No, see, I carry that with me all the time.
I see,
But see, what they have to do is take your head and freeze it right away, because they use the brain, see, because our brains are kept. Now, see, I've been to study, I guess, 25 years. Every 6 months they do a brain scan. Watch how so it works.
fascinating,
Oh, yeah.
fascinating.
Well, figure somebody has to.
The-
Maybe it'll help somebody. It's too
I
late.
hope so.
Too late for me.
I hope it can
But it's
benefit.
strange to go to the test. See, a lot of times, I would say, 5 years we had the same wording. Our psychiatrist would give us, but you go to a psychic test every 6 months. And then they do a brain scan over at Barnes. So it's interesting. Now, I've been with them, what the heck? Some good help. And they always said they're gonna have Alzheimer's.
Yes,
They haven't gotten it. They can't figure out a cure for it.
I certainly hope that that.
Oh, it'd be
comes-
nice.
Yes,
Well, you've done a lot of great service for for a lot of people, and we really appreciate your time with us today.
Good
Yes,
deal.
thank you so much. It was
All right.
nice meeting you.
Fine.
And thanks for letting us come over
Well,
and
good.
talk and.
Well, thank you for taking your time, because it takes time to do all this.